First things first, though. Let's do the latest golf news then. The latest junior golf news. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, Ian, but this week something quite big is happening up in Scotland. Open Championship. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I think. I mean, it's a fairly small event. I think. You know. Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm surprised it's made a bit of news, but I don't really know why.
Yeah, well, apparently they've had 149 of these previously, but the 150th one is supposed to be quite big, kind of thing. But look, we're talking about the Open Championship, of course, at the old course at St Andrews. Massive event. Obviously, junior golfers in theory shouldn't be part of this, but they're making such a big deal about this that there have been, not just this week coming up as well with the actual tournament, but also throughout the week and also the last few weeks as well, because as I'm sure you've been to the Open Championship before, they do a lot with kids now. And I think I noticed Tommy Fleetwood's doing some stuff with and the Golf Foundation, they've been doing some coaching and at the competition, you know, you can obviously go watch the golf, watch the pros play, but you have some club pros who do some coaching with kids, and they have them out there and on the range and the range finders and the putting areas and the chipping areas. It's great fun for the kids as well. But also I mentioned previously, because in the last few weeks or so there's been some events which have been taking place to promote obviously the 150th Open Championship, and they had a 9-hole challenge final there, 40 finalists there. I think we've got a photo of someone who played in this, because this young lad here, 11 years old, and he played in this competition, Caden Marsh. Hopefully you've got a photo. There he is there. So 11 years old, from Style Golf Club in Cheshire. So they played 9 holes. They played the first 4 holes at the old course, and then they played 14, 15, 16, 17, and of course the famous 18th hole there. So he had the opportunity to walk over the Swilcan Bridge. So fantastic experience for the young.
Just on that, Steve, could you imagine being that age with all the grandstands up as well, and just playing that 18th? I mean, it must send shivers up your spine, mustn't it?
Well, the thing about it is he probably didn't have any nerves whatsoever, because we stand there on that first tee. I mean, it's the biggest fairway you can imagine in the world. You shouldn't really miss it. But I've took photos of guys on that first tee, and they've said that's the most nervous they've ever been hitting a tee shot.
It's going to be the jitters, won't it? Yeah.
With him, it probably, hey, this is just to you know, smack it as hard as I can, and I can't possibly miss this fairway, which, you know, I'm sure he did. So well done to Caden there for playing in that event. Now, another big event which has been taking place this week, obviously they've been like having a champions event. Georgia Hill, we mentioned, who's going to be on a little bit later in the show. She was paired with 3 golfers who you might have heard of as well.
Do you want me to put the image up? Because
let's put the image up, shall we? Yeah.
It was look at that. Oh my word.
Yeah, so Jack Nicklaus wasn't in her team in her floorball, but you obviously got Jack Nicklaus there. You got Tiger Woods.
By the way, stop, Steve. If you can't name those 4 aside from Georgia, then you should be watching this podcast. Quite frankly.
it's a very good point. The quick question is how many Open Championships and how many major championships are there in that photo?
I know. Well, Woods has got 3, hasn't he? 2 at St Andrews in the Open. I don't know. I haven't got a clue about Trevino. McIlroy's got 1. I know that. 2014 or something, wasn't it? Nicholas,
but not at the old course.
Not at St Andrews, no. Nicholas has probably got about 28 or something, isn't he?
Possibly. Yeah. I think altogether, all major championships, there's 34 in that photo, so that's pretty good going. Wow. That's some photo. Now the interesting one, the reason why I wanted to put this photo up here is because I want to tell you a story about which I only read this today actually, about Georgia, and this was when she was 17 years of age. She won the British Women's Amateur Championship. And on the back of that, she played in the ladies. She won the she won the amateur championship. And on the back of that, same as this year, she played in the women's amateur championship. Now, on the back of that, she actually finished the top player, the joint first as the best amateur, finished level with Lydia Ko. Now, bless them, the authorities, they made a bit of a balls up, shall we say, and they thought that she'd lost on countback. So she didn't get the prize, but they looked at the trophy and they thought, hold on a second here, there was a tie 1 year. Oh, it isn't on countback. So they rang her back up to say, oh, you know, actually you need to come down here and get your photo taken and pick up the prize. By then she was halfway to the airport to get back down south, kind of thing. So she couldn't go and get the presentation and couldn't have a photo taken on the Swilcan Bridge. So 9 years later, what would you swap? Would you swap the opportunity to have your photo taken on the Swilcan Bridge then, or with those 4 guys that you just saw there?
Oh, with those 4 guys, it's an absolute no-brainer, isn't it?
Absolutely. So she's had her moment, and well done to Georgia for that kind of thing. So also mentioned, so not only played Georgia, obviously played in this Champions event this week. Also, British Women's Amateur Champion Jess Baker, she was also playing as well. Sorry, excuse me. She played with Colin Morcara, who's of course the defending champion. So
defending champ, yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I can tell you, Steve, as well, actually, they have the 4-hole challenge, don't they? The 4-hole challenge competition. And somebody we know quite well was in the winning team. That's certain Cynic Faldo was in the winning team for that, wasn't he?
He was, correct, yes. And I saw the scores as well. It was, I think it was 200, level upon the 17th, and then 200 on the 18th. So what a score, 600 over 4 holes.
Steve, you sound like you're about to die there. Are you okay?
I am.
Yeah, it was an absolute cracker, wasn't it? And of course, let me ask you a question. Right, it's not junior golf, so we do apologise about this, but it is open week, so we kind of got to touch on it a little bit. Yeah. Who's going to win?
Oh, blimey, there's a question for you. My hunch is the fact that I think it's going to be. I have no idea. You know, I genuinely have no idea, because I was going to say it was going to be one of the big hitters, but because it's so hard, the ground, the big hit is not going to be a massive advantage, because it's all about ball control, and so therefore it's going to have to be someone who is pretty good with a wedge, shall we say?
I know who's going to win. It's going to be Matt Fitzpatrick again. All right, I'll tell you why. Because you often see players, they go through these. Jason Day did it a few years ago. He was unbeatable for about 8 months, and then DJ was unbeatable for 8 months. McIlroy was unbeatable for 8 months. Fitzpatrick at the minute, of course, US Open champion, isn't he? He had a good result at the Scottish Open as well, by the way. He was 3 under for the tournament, wasn't it? Still finished top 10, maybe even top 5. I wasn't sure total. But this is a man on form right now, and like you said with this course, if you just decide to go, if you do a DeChambeau and just decide to hit it long, you will end up in a lot of trouble. So, you know, yes, you might be able to get a wedge out and go from there. But if your wedge game isn't a game, you're in a lot of trouble. As we know with golf, if you find the fairway, you are more likely to give yourself an opportunity for birdie at each hole. So I actually think Fitzpatrick is a good hitter, very good hitter. Not the longest, but his accuracy is dialed in. And I don't be surprised to see Fitzpatrick maybe in that final group at least come Sunday afternoon.
One thing's for certain, it's going to be a quality event. Now, we've got a story as well, which is just broke. This came through, I think it was yesterday it came through, but Callaway, they've unveiled a special and unique bag, which is going to be used by 34 players who are playing in this tournament. I think we've got a couple of photos actually of some of the players who are going to be using it there. So just looking at, you mentioned their possible winners there. You've got 3 former winners there. So you've got 3 former major champion winners. You've got Danny Willett, of course, who won the Masters, Henrik Stenson, who's the Ryder Cup captain and also won the Open Championship, and Molinari there. The person in the middle there, or the lady in the middle, she's the person who designed this bag. Now, it's a 17-year-old student from St Andrews called Iona Turner. She won a competition to design this bag. And we've got another photo, but a close-up of the bag here, and it looks fantastic. You have to say, I mean, credit to. I mean, that's a beautiful-looking bag. So if you're looking out for players who are using Callaway clubs, then they're going to be walking around with one of these bags. And some of the players there. So Minwoo Lee, who was the furthest person on the right in that photo, he's actually in the opening group as well. So look out for him hitting. There you go, on the right hand side there. And he's in the opening group with Paul Lawrie, who's a big so moving back to junior golf, if you like. He's a big follower of junior golf, helps out a lot with junior golf. So fantastic that Paul Lawrie's going to be hitting the first shot. Of course, a former Open champion as well. So let's hope. And also,
he was very nervous, didn't he? He did.
And you don't blame him as well, because there is some pressure there hitting the first shot at the 150th Open at the home of golf there. Now, I did say there aren't many juniors playing. There is actually one junior who is playing. That's 17-year-old South African Aldrich Potgieter, I should say, who won the amateur championship. So he qualified to play, and he will be playing with Stenson. So that's great, the fact that he's got the opportunity to play with Henrik Stenson. Right, let's move away from the Open then. Let's talk about some junior golf then. Actually, we'll stay with the major championships though, because the AIG Women's Open Championship, that's going to be taking place, I think it's either towards the end of this month. They've had qualifying, regional qualifying. Buckinghamshire, Harriet Lockley won that with a 66. Another person who we know very well, Patience Rhodes.
Former Faldos winner is Harriet, by the way, Wales Championship 2020, I want to say. 2020
yes, and I think Patience did very well last year in the it was the 24th or the 25th, because there's two girls who won the.
Yeah, there was. I can't remember. Yeah, that because we had 2 grand finals in one, didn't we? Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, so slightly different. Now the final qualifier for that is going to be at North Berwick, so which as I mentioned on the previous one, and the actual Open Championship will be held at Muirfield this year. So, right, staying with women's golf, another one person who we know very well. England women's team, they secured their 2nd successive European Team Championship, beat Italy in the final at Conway, and the person who we know won all 6 matches was Lottie Wood, of course.
Oh, mate, Lottie Wood. Well done, Lottie. Yes, we were rooting for you. Well, everybody as well, actually. Funny enough, I was with Maggie Whitehead last couple of weeks ago at the English under-18s, and yeah, what a team, by the way. I'll tell you what, the England golf team, don't mess with them, because they are big futures right there.
Yeah. Now, talking about informed golfers, how about this? 18-year-old, it's a name which keeps on cropping up on this podcast news, doesn't it, week in, week out? Matty Dodbury. So, just in the last 2 weeks, he's won the Bromborough Bowl, and then he's also won the Cheshire Stroke Play Championship. Now, at the end of this week, in fact, tomorrow, he plays in the Stockport Salver. That's played over 36 holes. Then the following day, another 36 holes, he's playing in the Wilmslow Crow. So that's on Friday. Now, those 2 events are combined. And if he wins, he will have the biggest smile on his face. And why? Why will he have the biggest smile on his face? You guessed it, Ian. Because he will indeed win, and I'm not joking, he will indeed win the Cheshire Cat.
Oh, great. Yeah.
I am not joking. The competition is called the Cheshire Cat.
I thought you were going to say he's going to earn a start on the European Tour or something. You know, he's going to earn a start at the BMW PGA at Wentworth or something, and he's going to win the Cheshire Cat. Great. No, I'm sure it's, hey, look, I'm not knocking it, by the way. I'm sure it's quite a prestigious thing to win. I'm down south, so I don't know anything about Cheshire. So.
Fair enough. Right, okay, now talking about men's golf but it does involve a really, really good performance from a very young golfer. So Derbyshire, Surrey and reigning champions Gloucestershire all made it through to the men's England golf county finals, though, after they won their regional qualifiers. Now let's talk about Gloucestershire here, because 20-year-old Joe Retford shot a 9 under par 61 at Minchinhampton, I think it's called, Minchinhampton.
Yeah, Minchinhampton.
Right. How about this for a back 9 then? Now this sounds like a putting competition. This will be my scores, as in how many putts I have on each hole. His back 9 was 2, 3, 3, 2, 4, 3, 4, 2, 4.
Wow.
27 strokes on the back 9.
Wow, 27.
27
what was
shots
it?
On the back
Picture putt.
Yeah. I mean, hey, hats off to him, though. And
That's
Gloucestershire
incredible.
boys. That's some going. That is Gloucestershire boys as well. They were also successful the previous week. They won the boys tournament, so they go through to the final at Furness. So they'll meet Northern champions Yorkshire, Southern champions Kent, and Midlands champions Leicestershire. So another big event then for them. Actually, staying with Leicestershire, Fraser Jones, who I know very well, he won the Midland Boys Close Championship. I think he'll probably be playing for Leicestershire actually in that boys final as well. He shot a 3 under par 68 to win that event. Also staying in the Midlands, Hertfordshire's someone we know as well, Adam Lefay from Old Fold Manor. He won the Midland Youth Open Championship. That was at Stoke Rochester, won by 3 shots from Seb Cave, the Belfry. Cave he won lifted the Berkhamshire Trophy earlier in this season. The girls' prize there went to Cambridge's Ella Mason. Peter Ellis Memorial Trophy, 15-year-old won this one. Walton Heath's Monty Holcomb. That was in the playoff. Another playoff winner north of the border. Scottish Boys Under 16s Open. That was at Bishop Briggs Golf Club. That was Finlay Galloway. He beat Cheshire's Dan Hayes. Dan Hayes, another person we know. That was on the first X hole. Those two finished level on 5 under par. And Finlay is a member at St Andrews, so obviously there must be a bit of inspiration there going through him then. So other events coming up. Actually, a couple this week. We've got the Scottish Junior Open Championship that's taking place at Moneyfeith. Scottish Boys and Girls Amateur Championship that's taking place. The McGregor Trophy, that's at Sherwood Forest. On the other side of the pond, we've got the IMG World Junior Championships over in the States. And towards the end of the month, we've got the Championships of the Championships event coming up in Ireland as well. Staying in this country, entries for the Reed Trophy, which takes place at Lincoln Golf Club, I think. They close today. That closes today. So so everyone hopefully has got the name down for that. And just finally, we'll finish with one final result here. Congratulations to Thomas Suggett for his victory on the Northern Junior Golf Tour at Hurlston Hall Golf Club. He won with a net 69. And he holed 5 gross birdie putts, including 4 in the last 8 holes. Now, the reason why I mention that is because he forgot his putter before he got there, so he had to borrow one from the pro shop. So my advice to that pro is the price of that putter is going up triple now because he knows that it works. So
did the pro shop get him to sign it then? Sign it.
Well, either that, or I think the pro should have the prize, to be honest, because know, if it's his putter, he was the one to hold all the putts, kind of thing. But hey, that's all. But there's a moral in the story there. It's the fact that even if everything is going as bad as you think it possibly can do, there's someone out there and someone must have been shining on him. Someone looking after him that day. So